And I guess here we are. Hello, everybody. Hello, Emily. Good morning to you. Good evening to Europe.
Evening to
And
you, right?
yes, it's evening. And whoever is watching us, you're welcome to have some fun with us. For those of you who don't know what you're watching, you happen to stumble upon the Uplifters. This is a monthly podcast that I've been doing already. This is the second season where I have the fun, the delight, the honor, the pleasure to invite absolutely gorgeous people who dedicate their lives to uplifting others. But it's also an invitation to all of you who would like to, have a different perspective on life, have a different grasp of what there is for us in the world, because sometimes you hear stuff but you're not at the right moment at the right time. But when we record them, maybe somewhere in time you will say, I heard this somewhere. And tonight I have the pleasure, immense pleasure, to have as my guest Emily Petroff. Hi, Emily.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you, my dear? I'm so excited to be here. You just have no idea.
And actually, we are both excited, and we are going to go all over the place. So, I know that for you this is very new. For me, it's not. It's like it's been like this is the second year that's going on, but there has been a shift in energy on along the episodes. So the reason I went towards you and I say, "Hey, Emily, would you like to talk to us? Would you like to have a conversation, like a friendly conversation?" Is that I remember that somewhere around almost 2 years back, we met in Mexico, and I can't remember how we got together. I guess Alan Jones has brought us together somehow. Is it true, or is it? I can't
Um,
remember exactly.
no, so actually, it was a person in California that that recommended I look you up, and I don't know if the two of you have ever even met, but she and now of course her name, because I need it, it's not going to be there, of course.
It's just somebody from California.
Yeah, and she was really working on and supportive of the path that I was on with consciousness and body and just like all of that. And she was like, "This woman is off the hook. You must have her on your podcast and you must talk to her. You must," right? So she was just really encouraging. And so then I just looked you up, and I think it was from you actually that I met Alan. So that was the connection, is you connected Alan and I.
So 2 years back, you started your own podcast about bodies and bodies consciousness and body. Should we call it body positivity? How should we call it? Because it's like a sort of a. I I became aware that some words can get a certain significance or can get a certain, and I wouldn't want that. But again, this is each and everybody is going to listen to this podcast through their own filters. What I would like you to talk to us about is this immensely vulnerable journey with you being so confident in your body. So, whatever you would like to share with people, I know we've been there in a podcast, and that podcast we were both naked. We weren't showing anything basically, but we were naked. Not only naked as skin, but naked as being vulnerable and sharing our experience on what is it to have a body. So, Emily, where are you? What are you doing? And what is it to have a body like yours?
It has been such an interesting journey. And I when I started it started out with a group, right? A Facebook group that was about, and at the time I was calling it the Naked and Unafraid movement, right? The Naked and Unafraid group. And it blew up very, very quickly, but not for all the right reasons. It blew up because naked, when you search naked in most of the people that are searching naked are searching it because they are wanting some other kind of experience than what I was providing. So over the course of the last couple of years, I have had to shift and change and kind of sift through and figure out, like, I want to support people in loving their body in a way that maybe they only dreamed or maybe they never even thought possible. And so now the group that I have is called the Body Confidence Babes. So I think it's confidence, right? I don't know that it's necessarily positivity for me, although I'm supportive of that as well. I think it's just about a level of confidence and a level of peacefulness that comes from practicing loving our body, which is really goes against all of mainstream society. It is more normal to hate your body and to hate yourself, and actually people are connecting over that, right? It's like I sit and listen to or watch conversations online, and while I'm at the coffee shop, and people of all shapes and sizes are connecting over how much they hate their body, and they're having conversations about how they're unhappy with this and they dislike that, and I think so that conversation not only is happening inside of us and in our own psyche, but it's also happening then out there in the world, and it reinforces all those things, that it's okay, and in fact it's kind of like what we should do, that we should hate. Of course you should hate your body, right? Of course you should, and the only reason or the only way that you actually should love your body is if it looks this certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that's true not only as somebody who has a bigger body, but I have people in the group who also have smaller bodies, and they will say things like, my boyfriend prefers a bigger butt than what I have, and so I'm always judging myself. Or my family is saying, go eat a hamburger or go eat a cheeseburger, right? So it's like they're really, and I don't have a concept of that because I've never really been a super small human, right? And when I was tinier than I am now, I had to work really fucking hard, right? Like it was like I had to restrict, I had to do all of these things that really didn't feel super good to me. And even then, when I got down to a smaller size, there was still all of those same freaking conversations happening in my head and out there in the world, right?
That, and it's not only that, but I remember me too sharing kind of the same journey, like having a bigger body, or on the more generous size, generally speaking, or euphemistically speaking, than being the very thin one and looking like the photo models. I remember that one of the things that I realized when I started to lose weight, like in the last months, was that even when I started this process of shedding my weight and transforming my body, I was having this expectation that I should look a certain way. While when you're going through this process of gaining weight or of shedding weight, or you cannot expect your body to be a certain way. That's not what your body is doing. Your body is going through a process of transformation, but you have to embrace both the process and the result. And I guess this is where most of us have this how should I say, it's a conflict, because you're going, as you said, through the restriction, through the diet, through the sports, through not this, not that, and you probably get a certain result. But are you willing to also receive the result that you're becoming? Because if your body is transforming because you asked it to, but it's not the way that you're projecting, well, what are you doing actually? Because that's again connecting with other people on judging your body, on what is going wrong with your body, while actually your sweet, cute, delicious body is doing exactly what you asked it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
those conversations, even when you transform, those conversations will never stop until, so what did you do to stop them? Did they ever stop with you?
So here's the thing that's really interesting, and I love that we're having this conversation today, because just today is Friday, and so on Tuesday of this past week, I had an interesting experience that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was with my friends, a few of my friends, and they were taking some pictures, and we swapped, and I was taking pictures of them, then we swapped, the husband swapped, and he was taking pictures of us together. And I'm sorry, my dog is barking. I
No
don't know.
worries, mine were barking before. So in my understanding of things, these are things that have to come out loud. So go for them.
Okay. So and I think there was maybe this unrealistic expectation, unconscious expectation even, that this wouldn't happen. So the husband takes the picture, and in that moment I could feel something that I haven't felt for a really long time, and it was a worry or a consideration that, what is my bigger body going to look like next to these two very beautiful, much smaller humans than me? And I will tell you, it shocked me, and it didn't stop. It was like, this was a monster that hadn't been fed in a very long time, and she was hungry, and I reacted from this place of a wound, I guess, right? Like, and I was instantly critical. I looked at the photo and was critical of the photo, and was then verbalizing my discontent with the photo and how it was taken. And I put all of that on my friend and said, you have to pay attention to angles. Like, you're not aware of the fat girl in the picture. Like, what the hell, right? I mean, I'm like having this reaction and this response. And then in that moment, then I'm feeling shame, and I'm feeling all of these things that now, like, I just made all of my stuff that I thought I had worked on, and that was sort of like, I set it down and was like, put it in a sweet, cute, nice little box on the shelf for, like, good job, Em, you worked on that, and good job. And I set it down, and I'm moving on. And now all of a sudden, that box was Pandora's box, and it got opened up, and holy shit, it was like, so now I'm feeling shame. Now I'm guilt. I'm feeling like an imposter. Here you are, somebody that's supporting people on body confidence, and you're having this reaction to a freaking picture. Like, and then you were mean to the person that was taking it, and like, oh my God, I'm telling you, it was wild. And the thing that it really like helped me see, and I posted about it almost within a couple of hours. I posted it on all the Instagrams and the Facebooks, because I really desire to be an example. I desire to be somebody that says, like, I also am a student of the information that I share too. I'm not here saying like, oh, I checked the box, I'm done with that, and so here's how you do it. No, like, things come up, and so I was battling imposter syndrome. Like, you shouldn't be out there telling people how to love their body when look at what you're friggin' doing, right? So it's like, I used it as a teaching opportunity for myself. I used it as a teaching opportunity, hopefully, for other people, or people that maybe have had that experience, to be kind to themselves and to not have so much judgment. And so I don't think it's something that you just ever set down. Now, I will tell you, I haven't had that experience in a very long time. So, and those thoughts would come in a lot. Like, when I first started this journey, it would be all the time. So I think it's like, it's kind of like anytime we practice something new, whether it's learning the piano, or whether it's some days you have a day where you're like, how come I can't play this song the way that I played it the last 4 days? Am I really as good as I thought I was? Or maybe my skill level isn't quite right. There's going to be some doubt. You're going to question that. And I don't know that I need to know why. I don't know that I need to judge why that came up. I just need to know that it's there, and that my job, I think, in that moment, it's going to make me emotional. It's just to be kind to myself, and to know that,
well,
that's not always what we do. Is we don't respond to ourselves in kindness. And I will tell you, I didn't initially. I was feeling so much shame and guilt for the way that I reacted to my friend, that I didn't even begin to process all the, like, body shaming that I did up to that moment, right? So I don't think it's a box to check for me. I don't think it's something that I will set down, and I also don't think it'll be right here in front of my face all the time, because even later, a few hours later, when I looked at that photo, I was like,
that was not a big deal, actually.
Yeah, right? It's like, what the heck is happening here?
This is oh, I love it. I love it when you share it like this, because I'm it's actually in my heart that when we speak about this kind of stuff, we give people the opportunity to grow. This is my motto. Every time you open your mouth, you actually grant somebody else the chance to grow through that as well. And it's not that, oh, I have this example, as you said it, I've been through that, I've got the key, I've got the solution. No, it's, if ever you are on this path, just know, just because we started probably one step ahead of you, or maybe we walk together on the same path, we don't have the same path. We are working and healing through different things. And one beautiful thing that I learned, actually two that I would like to share. The first one is something I was trying to lose weight with a certain method, and I struggled. I really struggled. Actually, when we met, I was really, after 6 months of restrictions and of doing everything by the book, but I had lost all my joy of life somehow until I went to Mexico. And then in Mexico, when I met all the flavors and all the energies, that I was like coming alive, and I was like, oh, I missed this. Because how many of us, when we go in restriction, we lose our, our sparkle, or we think we lose it because we don't lose it. But it's like, in that program, at some point somebody said something which stays with me, and it's like, a little light every time. It's like, the body has its own order. When you would like to heal something in the body is the one, your sweet delicious body is the one who's going to say, I'm willing to heal this, yes or no. So you can sit on your head, you can do whatever you want. If your body is not changing and there is something else to be healed before. And there's one thing that you said about, it's not that you have these conversations every time in your head. This is this anecdote. I was taking a class with horses. So I was afraid of horses. Now you will get the analogy or not, but I'm still sharing it. So I was afraid of horses. I was convinced I'm afraid of horses. And then I took this class. The first day I approached the horse like from a distance, like, oh my God, what am I going to do with it? It's going to bite my ass. Second day I got a bit more confident. I was seeing everybody else how they were managing the horses, and they were like heroes, on foot, and I was like, I'm nothing compared to them. Like, see, when you look at all those pictures of beautiful women who show you how they work out and their bodies are, you are nothing like them. You just stand in the distance. Then at some point I had how do you call them, the reins of the horse in my head, and everybody was working with the horse, but I was holding the horse, and I was like, I'm not doing anything here. It's like, what am I doing here? I was so disappointed in me. Day 3, I got close to the horse. The horse wanted to have a relationship with me. I got, all of a sudden, I got so vibrant and all, yes, it's working. Yes, I got this. And the 4th day, I approached the horse. The horse looked at me and went away. And I immediately went into, but I got this. But I thought I got this. But this is, so something is wrong with me. It's because of me. It's because of that. It's because of that. It's because of that. And then somebody had this inspiration, and she asked me a question, and she asked me, are you the same every day? Why would you expect the horse to be the same every day? Why would you expect your body to be the same every day? Do you eat the same thing every day? No. Do you move the same way every day? No. Do you breathe the same way? No. So to me, what helps is that every time when I'm going into, oh my God, this is never going to stop. And it's like, I don't use words like always, ever, never. It's today, right now. It doesn't work nicely for me right now, but what if tomorrow is better? What if today's, a picture in time right now, like, what time is it? I don't even see it. It's what my body feels like, but within a minute, it can feel totally different.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So how I would like to ask, how do you deal with this kind of, when people come to you and say, "Oh, but my body is always like this, and I would like to change this," and how do you how do you approach them? What do you tell them?
So I think that for me, it's about getting to the root, right? Because even in that moment, right, of sharing, and thank you for sharing that story about the horse. So the interesting thing, I also have had in my past lots of negative experience with horses. So I also had convinced myself that I am not a horse person and that they're not Emily horses, right? We're not, yeah. And I bought a horse this past summer collab
Sorry.
as a collaboration and an investment opportunity with my son's girlfriend. So it's a whole story. But I love we have a lot of synergy that we don't even know about. That's crazy and amazing, and I love it. So thank you for sharing that. And I love the analogy because it is about that unconscious expectation that we don't even know is there of ourselves and of other people too, right? It's like that I think sometimes can be a trip up, and I attribute it a lot to, especially in America, like, and I don't know enough about other cultures, so I'm only going to speak about America, and you can say whether you feel like this is true globally or not. In America, we really have an aversion to failure, right? Like there's this, like, we do not, failure is a bad thing. And I do think that in some ways, the wanting to work on myself and wanting to, check that box, so to speak, and wanting to, continue to progress in my own journey, whether it's with my body or with a horse or with a whatever, is really like, I can see how it is not wanting to fail, right? It is not wanting to go back, not wanting to feel like whatever that I've done is now gone, and that I have to start over, right? There's this, we don't want to start over with things. And so I think it's a beautiful analogy in that, like, it's not really about that. It's not about starting over, and it's not about failure. None of those things that we practiced or that I've worked on for the last 2 years went away in that moment
Nothing
of,
is
right?
lost.
They didn't go, right? They're still there. They were there within a few hours later. They were there, right? And so I think when somebody has that feeling of like, I need things to be different, I don't like this, the part that's important for me and the questions that I ask them are, is it because you really don't like your body the way that it is? Or is it because there's something else that has told you that you shouldn't like your body the way that it is? Right? So it's like, it's fine to want to change your body. It's fine to want to shift things and to do it differently. Because I also have that experience even now, right? I love my body, and there are things that I'm like, if I had this, I could have these experiences. So it's not really about shaming my body for not being a certain way. It's about how can I expand into a place where I could also then have these things that I want to have. And one of those things, I was talking to Alan about this one day. It was about like climbing, going on this trek to climb. Oh my gosh, why can't I say the mountain? Anyways, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world, and for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that now. I ran a marathon in 2019, and I was probably 212 pounds when I ran that marathon. Now, it took me every bit of a year to train for that. And I'm not a runner. Let me tell you, I'm not somebody who, like, you see these people that have always they ran in high school and they ran in college, and
I have to laugh about it because I'm not a runner, and I ran the half marathon in 2016, starting from scratch and training for 8 months at 80. I started at 75 kilos and I ended running it at 83. And I was devastated because with all those restrictions, diets, and I put on 5 kilos. So this is funny. This is too
same
much going on between the two of us.
same experience. So I went through a period of restriction in 2018, and I lost 2017, 2018, and I lost a lot of weight. And then in 2017, I lost a lot of weight. At the end of 2017, one of my very, very small friends said to me, and she's a runner, right? And not, she hasn't really run as an adult, but she ran in college and in high school. And she said to me, we should train for a half marathon as a way to maintain this weight loss. And I was like, I've never done that before, so sure, I'll do it, right? It was one of the most challenging things that I have ever done. And the way in which I did it with my body was so not kind. It was force. It was like, I am going to prove to you and to the rest of the world that your fat little body can, even though at that time it was the skinny version of me, but it was still the fat version of a whole lot of people, right? A whole lot of runners. I'm going to prove to all of you and to myself that we can do this. And by golly, we sure did. And I will tell you, I am very proud of that achievement. I am not proud of, I have an awareness now about the way that I pushed my body to do it, that I wouldn't want to do that again in that way, right? If I ever wanted to run again, and I'm not sure that I really do, but if I did, I would find another way of doing it because it was so unkind to her. And I just didn't have an awareness about how to do it any differently at that time, right? And so it is interesting to see it from that, and so I think it's fine to want to change. I think it's fine to want to shift things, right? Right now, I couldn't go climb that mountain that I would want to climb. I couldn't have that experience because my body is not in a place where she could do that. It would be very unkind to put her in a place to try and accomplish that if we have not trained for climbing this mountain, right? So, it's like, it's okay to want to change things. It's okay. And it doesn't have to be for some major, thing like that. It could just be because you want to get on a Ferris wheel with your child or a ride, or I don't know, right? Whatever your reason is, I think it's okay. I just think that sometimes it's not really, like, I can recognize it's in that, even in the moment of the picture, the reason that I had that reaction really wasn't because I don't love my body, and it wasn't because of the work. It was because of the programming and the comparison that I was doing with these other bodies. Because as soon as I let that go, and I'm now away from those bodies, and I'm in my own, and I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, it's okay, right? It's okay. So I think it's just, we have to get to the root of like, what is the motivation behind the change? Because if the change, from my perspective, if the change is motivated by outside of myself, right? The change is motivated because I don't think I'm okay, or I don't think society thinks I'm okay the way that I am. That's when the conversation still is there, no matter what size or shape your body is. So then it's like the work was all for nothing, right? It's like, I mean, not for nothing, but it's like you put yourself, or I put myself through all those things, and it was like, I still felt those things even when I was a different size. So it's like to really look inside and to really get clear about, I want to change this, and I want to change this because of this experience, or because of this, or because, like, I think it is important to know that it's coming from somewhere in here and not somewhere out here, because it's can be a very dangerous slippery slope that is like, you are sort of in this deep, dark, black hole of shame and guilt, and you can't get out of that if you're always looking outside of yourself for acceptance and what's okay,
This is so beautiful when you're mentioning that yeah, we learned, we trained, we are programmed to look outside and always look at how others perceive us, so that we know what to be for them, so that we be recognizable somehow. And let's be honest, how many times you get compliments because, oh, you lost weight, but when you put on, oh my god, what happened to you, or what is, or you lose weight and then, oh, are you sick, or you put on weight, are you pregnant? So these are all kind of projections from outside. And when you're speaking about the reaction that you had to that picture, I immediately went into this question. What do you know? what do you truly know? What will be the reactions of other people looking at the picture? I'm not saying that you're thinking anything of there. I'm like, how aware are we of everything that other people are ready to project on us? And for how many people we refuse to change anything in our bodies because it would be, I betray my family. If everybody is large in my family and I'm the skinny one, I'm actually betraying my family. Or if they have this history of having all these sicknesses or diseases in the family, and I dare be healthy and happy about that, I'm kind of this, how do you call this, not dishonored, but left aside, cast
Yeah.
aside.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, like, this is when we look outside, we lose the inside. It's like, what if we allow ourselves to just look at that? And it's like when you were speaking about the marathon and how much force you used, I was getting the chills because I did the same thing. And when I wake up in the morning and I sometimes have like knee ache or pain, or they are getting, yeah, a bit rusty, I'm like, I'm so deeply grateful that you didn't break or that you didn't create anything stupid with me pushing and forcing, because I was so into proving.
Yeah.
Right now, it's this is the antidote. This is what I would like you to tell us how you do it.
Yeah.
What is the antidote for all these judgments? And because as you said it, and that's obvious, we are on a journey here. It's like evolving, and I love the title, Evolving with Emily,
Thank you.
because you also have a group where you invite people to be conscious about this journey.
Yeah.
So what is the antidote to not getting stuck into that one point, like,
Yeah.
when you want to push through?
So it's really, I think a lot of people will call it like shadow work, right? And so, for example, I love what you said about if we are different than our family, right? We are not, we're any time that there is something that is different than what people are used to, right? There's going to be possibly an upset of some sort, right? And I think that I am coming a lot of times from a place of like, we have a lot of fat phobia culture, right? Like people that are have an aversion to being fat, and not that I'm not, I do have people in my group who sometimes go like, you're not supporting the skinny people. And I want to respect that, because I get that there are people who are also having body issues. They're not confident of their body. They don't love their body, and they are of small sizes. So my intention is not to not be
Upset
inclusive, not be
or
inclusive
exclude.
here as I'm going to say this. And I think once I say it, people will understand. There is a if our children go out and call someone fat, we would say that is no, do not do that. That is unkind. You do not say those kinds of things to people. But if they called someone skinny, we probably would not correct them in that way.
True.
Right? Like there is this. So there is and it's funny because I was having a conversation with a friend one time, and her son said something about she said, I'm really fat, or I'm this or that or whatever, and her son was like, no mom, you're not. And in that moment I realized like how at a young age we have programmed them that it's not okay to be fat, that it's not okay to say that is something that, and I think that in and of itself, if you are a larger bodied person, or even if you're a smaller bodied person, whatever it is that you're having an aversion to, like, what if it's true? And then what's the worst thing about if it's true, right? So when I got it that like, I am fat, it's okay. Like, it's fine, right? It's fine. It is fine. I don't have to have resistance to that, right? I don't have to plug into the negativity that we associate to a larger body or the word fat. And once I got that, it was like,
Yeah.
right. So now I take the power away from my own, that monster that wants to consume, right? I can take a little bit of that power away. And I also take the power away from other people who might, if they are going to say or do things that would be unkind, right? Or what our society would, what if it's just true? What if it's true? And what if that's okay? Like, what if I just admit that that's true? So I think that for me, it's getting to the, like, really looking at what is it that you're avoiding, right? What is
Yeah.
it that we are, like, not willing to look at, and to go, like, and what it, like, that's what's true. So if I'm fat compared to whatever else, right? Like, that's what's true. When I look in the mirror, put whatever label on it that you want to put on it, right? But, like, why do I have to make being fat such a negative thing that I'm, like, now trying to protect myself from all these things and all these people and all these,
And
right?
convince others and yourself that you're not. I
And
mean,
it's fine,
it's like
right? So it's like, and I think
it's
go
sorry,
ahead, sorry.
I interrupted you. It's like naming and acknowledging what is, so that if you want to basically change that, you first look at what is. You look at what you have. When you want to create something new, when you want to make bread, you look at what you have in the cupboard first. You don't go with, you know what, maybe I need some flour. I'll find somewhere. No, you look in the cupboard. Do I have flour or do I not? Do I need to do something first before that? It's
Yeah.
not like, hmm. See,
And
it's
I
not
think
like blurring.
totally. And so I think it sometimes is a difficult concept when we're talking about our body, but I can go to a place that is maybe a little easier for people to understand. If somebody thinks that I'm a bitch and I'm resisting that, probably there's a lot of truth in that. And so then what if I just go, you know what? Actually, like, I've either been a bitch at some point in my life, 100% true. I have the propensity to go being a bitch, like 0 to 60, like that fast, right? Or I can see where at some point in my future, probably I'll be a bitch. So I don't need to resist their whatever it is. So it's like, I think it's looking at what are the things that you are trying to hide from, or that you, and sometimes this is tough, right? Like, this is not a band-aid approach to handling body confidence stuff, right? This is like, you got to dig in. It's like, I always tell people, not fitting into your skirt that you want to wear, or not liking the picture, or not, wanting to wear a swimming suit to whatever you're going to. Those are like the leaves or the branches of a tree. What I'm wanting you to do is go to the trunk and actually even go down into the root. Like, what is the root of what is going on here? And let's not look at how let's not resist that anymore, right? What is the worst thing about being fat? What is the worst thing about being a bitch? Sure, I have to be careful about that. I'm not, like, making the people in my life go away. I have to, right? I mean, there's all these things that
Even if you're careful, there are people who are going to come and go out of your life, and that's not something in your control. But this is the process. I remember somebody saying that, I guess I saw a TikTok. Now I'm educating myself on TikTok, because
that's how it is now, right? That's what we do.
being a teacher for teenagers is like, if I'm not on TikTok, I'm not looking at TikTok, I'm not valid. Do you know? I mean,
Yep.
hello. So somebody was saying something very interesting, that you can do all the diets in the world, you can do all the fitness programs in the world, until you're ready to dive deep, as you said. Nobody can do anything for you. It's only you who have to get to, you said it, to the root, and I go to the seed, and to even the thought before that seed, which probably wasn't even yours,
Right.
was somebody else's, who, let's be honest, I grew up with my mom every time looking at me and telling me the story that when I was born, I was the biggest in the maternity, the biggest shoulders, and it stayed with me. So I have large shoulders to carry the world on them. What do I create in my life? A lot of stuff where people are falling apart and Selena is handling it. I'm sure that if we look in our lives, we can find those little tiny seeds
Totally.
popping, like, from time to time. And I remember when you said that you all of a sudden had this reaction. What if this is just, to me, it's like you're so far from where you began.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for you just an acknowledgement of, oh, yes, I still have a burst. But the difference is that you didn't stay there, you didn't go down, with the whirlpool. You just grew and exploded in billions of possibilities with your story,
Yeah.
which inspired this, reunion at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is being able to um and I think support, having support through the process is really important. And I think a lot of people think that their family is their support, and I caution them with that a lot of times, because our family loves us so much that oftentimes they're putting their agenda on us, so as not to, they don't want to see us in pain, they don't want to see us hurt, they don't want to see us, having whatever experience. And oftentimes, in for me, the it is growth has been painful, and it has been, right, like that experience was not something that I look back on and go like, man, I want to have that every day of the week, right? Like that's a good one, right? However, I am beyond grateful, because even though it was so painful, and it is still, I am still in it a little bit, right? Like there are still things that I'm working through in regard to the other people that were involved in that situation and what's going on with that I'm still working on. And it's like, to make sure that that the support that you have isn't always just about like coddling you and patting your little pooper and making you like, if
Yeah.
somebody's saying, if you're like, I'm fat, and they're like, oh no, you're not, right? Like that's not helpful sometimes, because it reinforces we're not that, because you're saying it in a way that's, you don't want to be that.
You're a bit of NASA. I said, where NASA says failure is not an option. It's like when you're not willing to be that friend of saying how things truly are. But again, this is a lesson that I learned the past years, is like not everybody wants to hear what you have to say. So if you're truly a supportive friend, know when to shut up, and know that there's going to come a moment when people are willing to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Because when they struggle, when they are in their own judgment, they will not hear anything of uplifting, quality.
Yeah.
They are just busy surviving their own judgments, but don't give up.
Right. So I think the group, to sort of bring it back around a little bit, the group is about support, right? The group is about, and it's not support in that like, I don't want people to stay in the stuckness of what's going on for them with their body, right? I want them to like, and you don't have to change. Like my goal is not for you to change your mindset around your body if that's not what you want, right? It's so if you want to stay upset with your body and you want to beat it down every day, like, okay, that's up to you, right? That's okay. And the group is not to support. I've been in other body confidence groups, and it is really a very oh, you look fabulous, you this, you that. Like there is some of that, right? There is, because I do think it is important that we are creating a space,
Encouraging.
where we are inspiring and motivating each other and all of that. And there is also in the group a level of like, I want you to acknowledge where this mindset and where this feeling that you have is holding you back. So like today, one of the posts that I put up in there was like, let's talk about our body confidence bucket lists. Like
I saw it. I saw it. Yes,
What are
yes,
you not
yes.
what are you not doing, right? That you would do if your body was different, right? And acknowledging like, oh my gosh, like I am allowing this thing that I have going on here to keep me from the things that I maybe would do if it was different. And what if it didn't have to be like that? Right? Like what if it actually didn't have to be? What if you could wear a crop top today? What if you could wear shorts if even though you have dimply legs and you're this or that? What if you could go on a date? What if you could, whatever it is, right? Whatever the things that you're not doing because of the way that you feel about your body, what if it didn't have to be like that? But in order to know, you have to really acknowledge that that's what's going on for you right now, in real time. So the group is supportive, but it's in a way that's like I'm poking the bear from time to time and I'm challenging things a little bit and also then sharing my own shit that comes up for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's evolving with Emily and the body confidence babes, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So these two Facebook groups, we are going to put the link there if anybody wants to continue this wonderful conversation with you, so that they can find you there. But if there's anywhere else where people can find you, tell us where can people engage with you?
Those are probably the best places. I mean, I'm also on Instagram as Evolve with Emily. So if they're more of that, you know, if you're on the gram more than you're on the books, right? I am there as well. I'm my direct message. You can always direct message me. I'm very responsive. You know, it is not hard to find me. My email, you can email me. My email address is emily@evolvewithemily.com, all spelled out. So, you know, it's not hard to find me. My website is under construction and actually has been that way for quite some time. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing anyway
It's on
with
a
that.
journey. It's on a
It's on a
journey.
journey of its own.
So
So
just before we round up, I would like you to I would like to ask you, do you offer sessions or do you offer group coachings, or what is it that people could, find
yeah,
there? Is it individual sessions, group coachings? Do you do workshops? I know that you did the yoga workshops, but
yeah.
oh, we didn't tell people where you are. Emily, tell us where you are.
I am in Billings, Montana, which is in North America, and it's a tiny little town it's pretty remote. Actually, I'm not a big fan of it, but it is where I was born and raised, and my children are still. I still have one kiddo that is not an adult and one that's going to college. So until they're kind of off, I'll probably be here. Then I'm going to go somewhere warmer, closer to Mexico, because or traveling around. So yes, I'm in Billings, Montana. So if for people that are that know me, there is some one-on-one work. I did a naked yoga class, and I actually just met with a woman yesterday who we're going to put another it's not going to be yoga, it's going to be more of like a healing circle, like a naked healing circle. So I am gonna do something like that again in a month or so. But I do all of my sessions are you can do them in person or via Zoom,
Online.
right? Like yeah. So it doesn't matter where people are in the world. We can totally connect and figure that out. I don't have a group program for the body confidence stuff, because what I find is that you're going to get a lot of free stuff out of the Facebook group, right? And it's free to join the group. So please, hop in there and just check it out. The body confidence conversation is sometimes we need to really get personal. And so when I do body confidence coaching outside of the group, I do it one-on-one usually. And so there's a couple of different options that people have in regard to that. I am working on, though, an online, it would just be like a self-study kind of program that people could go through. So that will probably be born closer to the summer, maybe. But I am working on that. So for people who maybe want to just work on it on their own, but actually need a little more structure than what the Facebook group
Yes.
offers, that will be an option that's available soon. So yeah.
Oh, I find this all like, Delicious. Yeah, body. Probably I'm also hungry at this moment. Oh, Emily, thank you so much for this conversation. It has been so delightful, as I actually expected it to be.
Oh, thank you
I'm
so much.
I have to say it because I was so looking forward to this
Mm,
conversation, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last one. I'm sure that we will meet again, and I actually am like kind of sparkling on a different idea, but we'll talk offline. So
okay.
I would just like to end it with a moment of gratitude because I asked you where you are. And for me, it's always now, it's my moment of having tears in my eyes because Uplifters started with something like, okay, it was just an idea, but it's actually connecting people all over the world.
Mm,
And this is like, wow, it's possible. So there are so many beautiful, absolutely gorgeous people everywhere around. Just keep an eye on the miracles,
yeah.
walking miracles around you, and when you see one, don't be afraid to say, hey, thank you. They will know for what, or maybe they will not know for what, but just allow yourselves to see it, acknowledge it, take it in, and be grateful for this delicious sweet body that we all have.
Well, I have to tell you, I am so grateful for you. I love everything about you. It's just like I just and it's so funny because people in my little circle right here will I'll be somewhere and they'll say, "Oh my god, did you see the thing that Selena shared?" Right? And it's like I love that. And so you have a presence here in our little community, whether you know it or not. People in my space know who you are because of who you are, right? And they just love you and everything that everything you share in my group is such a contribution to people and what we're trying to do. So yes, you absolutely are connecting people all over the world, and in my little community of 150,000 people all the way across the world, people know who you are because of that. So I want you to know we are big fans of yours. Like I'm blessed to be here and be on your show and sharing my point of view, but I will tell you, you are a little bit of a celebrity over here for us because we're like, oh my God, Selena, right? So anyway, we love you over here.
I love you too. Even if I don't know you, I love you too. Um, and it's like endearing because I just said if you see somebody, just say thank you or thank you.
Yes.
It's like, okay. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation. And I'm so looking forward to so much more. Remember, loving your body, being kind to your body is a journey. And even if you've been a bitch to your bodies, even if you've been harsh to your bodies, even if you neglected them, maybe the next 10 seconds you can choose something else. Maybe a glimpse of kindness today, a glimpse of kindness before you go to bed, when you wake up. It's tiny little sparkles that make a firework. Thank you so much, Emily. We have a comment and I don't see. Oh, I love you too, Maria. Maria is. Where is Maria? Maria. Where are you from? She's from the United States. I met her in Sedona. We traveled through the world together, and now she's watching this. Thank you so much. Wow.
So
So we end. The end. Thank you, Emily. Mwah.
thank you
Thank you,
so much.
everybody. And next, until the next episode, it's Houston. I was like, Texas, but it's Houston. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. And see you next time. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you.